So when that comes to you, Dino, if you do the clicker,
No, really?
you click it to that camera, and we're fucking away. Give it a big one. Give it a big... Good.
Boom.
Good. Well done.
Okay.
Dean Mogridge, I asked your brother this question yesterday. If you could be an animal, if your mind and personality would suit an animal, what animal do you reckon you'd be?
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's a big one, isn't it?
Keep that in close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What did my brother say?
He said a tiger. He was put on the spot as well. He didn't know what to say.
I was thinking something along those lines.
Just turn that in. Turn that mic, get it right into your mouth there. Yep.
Is a cheetah faster than a tiger?
I reckon it would be.
Yeah, definitely cheetah.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer. Hey, okay, start from roughly the beginning. I'm asking everyone this. Tell us from when you're about 5, 6, like when you're starting school up until when you finish school. Tell us about your family and where you lived and what you did and what you're into. Go for it.
Oh, wow. You make this is too hard. So what was the question again?
Yeah, go back to when you're 5, 6 years old. You're about to start school. You're starting school. Who are you living with? What's your family? You got siblings? All the rest of
so
it? Tell us.
basically grew up brother, sister, parents in Hawthorne Dean.
And what was that like? What school were you going to?
Hawthorne Dean Primary School.
And what was that like?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then later school, senior school, were you a good student? Did you like school?
Unfortunately, I was sent to St. Peter's College and absolutely hated it. Wasn't for me.
Why not?
I think it was probably a full-on academic school, whereas I was probably a bit more of a hands-on, technical sort of school guy.
And where did you finish all the way to the end of year 12 or?
No, I finished about year 10, joined the workforce.
Man, that's 3 of you that have all said the same thing out of 4 interviews.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so tell us about why that occurred. Can you remember, why'd you finish school? What was...
I was running amok. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to be out riding my bike, hanging with my mates. Left, pretty much worked out. If you work, you get coin. And I think I've worked since I was about 15 or 16.
Where did you start working?
I actually worked in a printing place, printing street directories. They offered me an apprenticeship. I declined that because I didn't see the factory life for me. I think I moved on, did things like gyprocking, worked in a butcher's shop, and eventually found myself in the push bike industry.
Where was that?
Good old Jeff Miller, cycle rider, Blackwood.
Legend, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you remember any stories about working in the bike shop with old Jeff? Can you put your mind back in there?
Oh, mate, ask anyone in Adelaide, is there a story about Jeff? Definitely. Straight to the point. Good bloke. His heart was in it. Probably a bit of a champ, really.
And what was the bike scene like at that stage of your life, like in Adelaide?
Well, overall in Adelaide, I mean, you didn't see a road bike until your first Tour Down Under came through about that stage. Mountain bikes didn't have suspension. BMXs were pretty cool. Like, that was a bit of a thing. But, you used to race, so dirt jumping old race bikes, and they'd break. So it's still very early days of, what you could actually do because limitations on the gear.
The bikes just weren't built for it.
No, you'd land a jump and the handlebars would bend. The cranks would bend, the pedal would bend, snap the forks, bend the dropout. It's just part of it.
And that was BMX, yeah?
BMX early days, yeah.
When did you start loving BMX, or when did you start that journey?
Probably 16, I reckon, off the back of skateboarding. To realise skating was this slam after slam, and then also a pushy you could get around the district pretty good as well.
And who are the people that you're riding? Like, you were just riding for fun? You're just hanging out in the street with your mates?
Yeah, I had a good mate, Matt Townsend, and pretty much he had a BMX. I didn't, and we used to go around together on his bike hitting jumps until I got my own. So it's pretty cool.
And what were jumps in Adelaide like back then? What year? Roughly what year would have that been? Like 93, 94-ish?
93, 94, 92, I reckon. Yeah.
And so then, you know, I know that's probably the time that we kind of met, I suppose.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
around then.
Who's the dude with the camera and the dreads? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Good times.
And then, you know, the BMX, dirt jumping scene. You were more dirt jump than skate park street? Is that,
Definitely.
that was your
yeah,
thing?
early days. Yeah, I think the first comp was States Road. I've got some old photos.
Yeah,
And I reckon you were there. You were there on your trials bike, Marshy. That's the first time I'd ever seen trials. First time I'd ever met Marshy. So that was a good weekend. Holmesy, he was on the photography.
Yeah, I think he was kind of part of Shane. Wouldn't it be Shane as well?
I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and then it progressed. Then where did BMX take you from there?
BMX was just everything. After work, weekends, no reason. It's just what we did. So cool.
And what was the scene in Adelaide like? Yeah, in those years, even those next 3-4 years, how did it progress? How did it grow?
In our area, it was awesome. There's 20 kids digging dirt jumps, rhythm sections. I can't remember what year we got the Blackwood track going. We'd been around 18 at the time, I reckon, 17, 18. That was kind of, people just rode because that's what you did.
And where was that? Explain that place.
Apex Park, the jumps down there, still there today. We got involved and pretty much got the track happening the first time round. And it's evolved since then.
Yeah, cool. And do you do dirt jumps now? Is that a thing or?
Oh, I'd say I do little jumps compared to what I used to. Probably fear the crunch a bit these days, though.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Tell us about some of the other people you met from Adelaide. You met all these different, or we all met all these people kind of through bikes.
Mm.
Who are some of the people you wouldn't have met if you didn't have a bike?
Well, probably you.
Yeah.
Marshy. Probably some of the other mates. I mean, got one guy I still ride with is Ben Whitlock. We ride moto together. But he was a legend, and then now he's your mate. It's kind of pretty cool.
He was. He was the first and the fastest. And
then it's just all the other characters, like Nari Jenkins. He was just such a dude. Trigger, Wild Man. The list just goes on. It just doesn't stop. The community's awesome.
And you're still friends with them today?
Mate, it's always a g'day when we see each other. Life goes on.
And that's 25 years later now-ish, 20, 25, yeah. Yeah.
But you could probably call 29 some of the friendships,
Yeah. Did you used to get into some of we used to run dirt jump comps. What did you think about dirt jumping competitions? What was your approach to that stuff?
Oh, it was pretty funny. I mean, I think in those days it was also new, and you'd see, a video from the US or something. So really you're just sending yourself into the abyss sometimes and hoping for good. But we did do some pretty big jumps, I think, for, the day, like Dingley Dell dirt jump comps were awesome. The ones you held all around the place. I probably got out of the dirt jumps and switched to the mountain bikes after, that incident on my BMX back then.
What was that incident on your BMX?
Oh, I snapped my leg in 3 places and dislocated my ankle. So that was a bit of a turning point to mountain bikes.
How did that? Do you remember that day? How did that accident happen?
Fucked up.
Cool.
Basically, they just laid dolomite on the track, came over a jump, slid out a bit, put my foot down, literally just the back wheel ran over the back of my foot and took the heel with it. Yeah.
Do you remember how you felt, how the recovery was at that stage? How old were you then?
I think I was 18. About 2 years recovery.
Not riding at all for 2 years, or?
I think I was a good 9 months off the bike.
And then how did things change from there?
That's when I bought a mountain bike, pretty much to get the ankle rolling again, and things changed pretty quickly from there.
And so who were you riding with in those days? What was the fun bit about mountain biking when you were getting into that side of it?
It was still the same old BMX crew, but slowly people were, it's like your mates now. Everyone's slowly getting an e-bike.
You'll get there.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, so so one mate gets a mountain bike, the next one, and then old mate gets one, and then next minute everyone's on mountain bikes, and the BMXs are getting dust.
Yeah. And so where did you got into mountain biking? Where did mountain biking take you? What did you do with mountain biking?
Bombed runs a lofty. That was cool.
And were there any legal trails when you were doing that?
No, you'd get chased in Blair National Park by the rangers. Mount Lofty, you'd get chased. Pretty much there was nowhere to go.
Compared to today?
Compared to today, yeah.
What's your, you still involved in mountain biking today? You got a Open Trails shirt on there?
Yeah, it's old Kano's business. I've got a trail network 900 metres from my house, so mountain biking's still a thing, definitely.
Yeah, right. And in that mountain biking phase, we did some cool shit.
Did some awesome stuff.
Can you go back and remember any times, any adventures, any, travels? Does any stand out? I mean, I know there's a lot, so it's hard to pick one.
It is hard to pick one. I think it was just the scene, really. There was no particular reason why we did it. It's just because that's what you did. And that's what we do, So it wasn't... Yeah, you were filming, but there was no other reason you were doing it just for apart from enjoyment, which is good.
And did you get into racing, or what was the mountain bike? What part of mountain biking did you really like?
The racing was good. I mean, the tracks weren't probably that challenging to a certain degree. They were all pretty tame, and people were going for more time than, aggression, I guess, if you call it that. That'd be fucked up. I don't know. Yeah.
But challenging yourself to do, I mean, there's a group of us that we'd go riding and doing stuff, and there was quite a while there. We had a pretty good fun time with the guys. What was a typical weekend? This is, I don't know, let's say it's around 2000-ish, late 90s, 2000, maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, so what we're riding, yep, there's the bike, yep. I reckon 2000 it was racing. That was my first ATX Julie that I ever got, was around then. That was good fun. Nationals, that sort of thing. But then I think, when did the freeriding stuff start? I reckon about 2002, 2003.
That's when some of the American videos were coming out, and you see what's happening over there. There's no Instagram, there's no Facebook, there was no, I don't even think YouTube or anything like that was shown. You couldn't really see anything unless someone made a movie.
I think where it started getting exciting was when we started jumping, jumps became 30 foot, and then it'd go 40. And then regularly on a weekend, you're hitting 50 foot on a tiny little, early mountain bike. And it felt good. That's what I enjoyed. And then also riding down the sides of hills, and you're like, yeah, I can do that. And it's just such a buzz. You didn't know what was going to happen.
So more the technical mental challenge.
Yeah, because we were all riding trials, so it was such a crossover. To go huck a drop.
And keep that close to you.
To huck
I'll pull it to you. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we were riding trials, mainly because of yourself and Marshy. But then you could transfer it into a coming off the side of a hill, hitting a rock, hitting a drop. That was really good fun.
Explain trials. Like to someone that's fucking no idea what you're talking about. Trials. What do you mean by that?
I observed bike trials. So hopping from one obstacle to another, using your front brakes, pulling the back wheel up, flicking the bike around.
Balance,
yeah.
And what were the bikes like? What were you riding in those days? Describe, one of your best bikes. What were the wheels like? What was it like? What was the components and stuff?
Yeah, so probably I had a couple of the old early ATX DHs. You pretty much changed the crankset out to a profile. It took the RockShox out the front, put Mr. T's in the front. Pretty much so the bike would last a day.
Wheel size, travel?
26 inch.
How much travel?
About 5 inches was the big one, or is it that? Am I lying? Maybe 4. I can't remember really. Yeah.
Do you think 5s is a big one?
Oh, she's huge.
Yeah. Okay. And so then after a bit, we're all, back in the day, we were trying to chase to be sponsored or to something like that. There was a bit of effort that we could maybe do something like we do some cool shit. You approach companies and how did that go?
I don't think it was there.
No.
I think the best you did have a year is you got a free bike that you had to pay them back for at the end of the year, and you got a couple of free T-shirts. The bonuses was the free travel, the accommodation, going to X Games, going to Jindabyne, all that good stuff. You got
an X Games medal, don't you?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was racing in the snow. I think Shane Woad took it out that year. Am I correct? He did. So that was something.
Explain that. What was that all about?
Well, we went over for a 4-man eliminator, was it? I think.
On the snow.
On the snow.
And how do you ride on snow?
Screws into your tyres.
Explain that.
Explain that. Well, you get a drill and you get a screw. Nah. Pretty much we had to make do.
And did you end up ripping your ass on the screws in your tyres?
Yeah, and I think it was Angus Graham ran over my head and my helmet had scratch marks. I think that trip, Marshy did his knee, Rowan broke his sternum and his knee, and you did your knee as well. It was quite a solemn trip home, wasn't it?
It was. You were the only one that could drive, weren't you?
Yep.
Okay, interstate travel with mates. How's that? How much fun has that been?
It was so much fun, wasn't it?
And pick a destination.
Oh, she was always a beauty at beauty. That was cool. There's the dog.
There's the dog.
There's the dog. Yeah, Mount Beauty was good. Mount Buller. Where else did we go? Threaders.
You been back to those places since then?
Yeah. Yep.
Doing mountain biking or?
No, I've been back on the moto. Just some travels over that way.
All right. Tell us about moto. When did you get into moto?
About 2000. Yeah. Love it.
And what are you doing when you say moto?
Mainly enduro riding. Big Ks, 200-300K days, nice.
And you've kept that up consistently since?
Pretty much, yeah. Yep.
Would you do more than that than mountain bike? What today versus 2005?
So, pre-children, which was 7 years ago, I rode moto pretty much flat out with Rowie. It was every weekend, going away probably every third weekend. Since I had kids, mountain bike, because I got trail so close to home. But every year we'd do a couple of trips, like high country, do a couple of the iconic rides over there. Say, ride from Jamison to, what's the name of the pub? I can't remember. Leave that bit out.
No, we can't remember. That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so high country, and who you doing that with? High country.
Yeah, so a few of the old mountain bike guys. So Whitlock, my
Doing
brother. Nah, I'm right for a beer. And a whole bunch of other sort of guys I've met along the way.
How do those weekends go? Like, how do you start the day and how do you end the day on a trip like that?
Start with a smile and end with a smile.
Good. And then what do you do in between?
Don't fall off.
Don't fall off.
Don't fall off.
How's that go? Like, say 5 of you travelling the state, how many people fall off?
Generally, we're pretty good. Yep.
Who are some of the guys that you're doing that with?
Okay. So, who we got? We've got my mate Burnsy, Clarkey, my brother, Whitlock. They're the main sort of characters. And then whoever else gets on board.
And what's a typical day when you're doing that stuff? What preparations do you have? Where do you sleep? What do you carry with you? What happens if something goes wrong?
Really depends on where you're going. Sometimes it's swag. Sometimes we get accommodation. A bit like the mountain biking days, but a bit more value for money, you could say.
Yeah. All right. Jumping back to a bit more about your family. How big a part does family play in your life?
Well, I'm a father of 2 these days, so yeah, I'm pretty busy.
Good fun?
Love it.
Does it make you look at your dad differently?
It makes me sound like my dad sometimes, which is, I think everyone goes through that one.
Keep in close there, Dean. I'll pull
Yep.
that into you.
Yep.
Just pull it into you.
Yep.
Yeah, so mum and dad, tell us a bit about them.
Mum, dad, both retired. Pretty proud of both of them. My dad was a career officer in the army, and my mum was a social worker.
Go on.
Go on. What was the question? Mum and dad. Yeah.
Mum and dad.
Yeah, so both live close. Both have a lot to do with the kids, which is pretty cool.
Keep going. Don't mind me. This professional studio.
Yeah, we're going good.
I don't have anyone to push that button. There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And they're still a big part of your life now. They're both still here. Yeah.
Yep.
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 Yep. Sorry, I'm answering you.
Tell us more. Okay, your dad. Tell us a bit about your dad.
Don't know what to say, really. We'll skip that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
All right. Skip that one. Let's go to injuries. What injuries have you said about your ankle before? Is that it?
Yeah, that was the biggest one, I'd say. Yeah, hard slams, just knocking the absolute piss out of yourself. They were the ones that hurt when you slap the ground, and it hurts for 2 weeks, but you still got to get up and go to work and just deal with it.
Okay, what do you do for work now?
Fabricator, welder. Yeah, just one of my little things I wanted to do back in the day, and I'm doing what I wanted to do, so it's pretty cool.
And when did you start doing that? You had a little shed out, Lonsdale way there many moons ago. What started you into doing that?
It was something I always wanted to do, and I just sort of taught myself the trade. Worked for a couple of companies, which I learned a lot, and I think it's one of those things when you've got a craft and people need that skill, it just goes from there.
And so what sort of projects have you worked on that you're most proud of, that you that's a bloody good job?
Yeah, that's a funny one. You forget a lot of the ones that you do.
High pressure, and you still delivered.
Probably one project. Me and the guy who I work with did a couple of cafes out of shipping containers. That was a really good one.
What do you mean, a cafe in a shipping container?
Like basically cut doors into a shipping container. Doors open up, has fridges in there, bar.
And what's the purpose of that?
It was actually a promotional tool for Dan Murphy's. It's got shipped around the country to sort of markets and that sort of thing, and sold a bit of Dan Murphy's product out of it.
Yeah, okay. And what other sort of stuff have you done with your welding? Is it welding, or it's more than that?
I mean, early days I worked in the drilling industry, and we were converting drill rigs and doing big stuff. Working on transmission lines, welding up casings which were getting driven into the ground for water retention, all sorts of cool stuff. I've worked for myself pretty much for, I think, about 10 years now straight, which is pretty cool. I did a lot with national parks, a bit, I don't know. You lost me there, Zol.
No,
Sorry,
just
mate.
work. No, just work. Like what other jobs have you done? What's been your favourite job? Is now your favourite time?
I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah.
All right. Inside Line Mountain Bike Club. What's your earliest memories and involvement with the Inside Line?
First race at Wollonga. That was just gold. Sending it.
Do you know when that was?
I can't remember. No.
Do you know who was who you figure at the time? There's a few guys you figure you know who the fast ones are. Do you remember the guys around you at that stage? Some of the guys racing that.
Oh, it was so early days. I mean, I think like Wildman, Felix, they were all the guys back then.
Stand Your Cycles guys.
Stand Your Cycles, the SCU boys.
Scum boys.
Yeah. Because, they're all, I think, probably 4 or 5 years older than me. So you sort of rocked up to the scene you didn't know. And, then you had Kraftwerk's crew and all the boys, So it's pretty cool.
And was you serious about your racing, or was it downhill mountain bike racing in Adelaide?
I don't know. Did anyone take it seriously, or did you just do it?
I think it was just a fun thing that everyone did, and you got where you got.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right. You answered the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeriding. Tell us a bit more about that.
Good fun, hey?
They don't even call it freeriding anymore, do they? I don't know.
What is free riding?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's not a line in front of you.
Nah.
And you just rode it.
Yeah, I think it was free riding was a big blend of BMX, trials, and mountain biking, wasn't it? But what was it? What do you think it was though? Like,
I don't know. It was just sharing. Well, not sharing. It's just doing the thing that you like to do, like just putting a little twist on what was already kind of there, and you got bored of that, so you tried to put a twist on it. You tried to extend.
I think that's a good way of answering it.
Yeah,
and I mean, it wasn't about getting a free bike, because really it wasn't a free bike. That was just a bonus.
What would be a weekend? Go back to when we'd ride with Rowan and Grant and Marshy. It's a Sunday morning.
Yeah, it started off probably a bit like, I found this spot, and then you'd go there, scratch a bit of dirt around, have a roll.
Any spots come to mind? Like, what about when we went out to like Polar Bear Rocks and out that side of town? Hunting for some cool shot.
Yeah. Well, it was a good spot. Don't know.
No.
Nah. I'll come back.
We'll come back to that one.
Yep.
Fucking hell. What'll Where do we go from here?
Not sure.
Yeah.
What was your favourite spot?
Favourite spots for different reasons. You know, there's favourite spots to ride.
Yeah. What about the old Boral Quarry when you did that drop off?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Out the back of the
Lonsdale
racing club, the BMX track there that's now all houses.
Yeah, we just rode down those big hills.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were filming, were we?
We filmed a bit. I think Holmes came out and he was taking photos. I don't know, we hit a few spots that day?
Yeah. I think some of the best times is when the camera wasn't rolling. We're just doing it.
And you're just riding.
Just doing skids.
Yeah.
You know.
Mucking about.
Wherever it was and whatever we were doing, it was just like, yeah, it was cool. And someone just ripped something out and he'd never had the camera there. And that was probably the best times.
Yeah, that's it. There's so many times where you're just having fun, feeding off each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because, again, I like riding too, but I also like filming. I figure if no one films it, then no one's going to see it again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it didn't really matter, did it?
No, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But now we've got it to look back at. I'm fucking glad I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What's the best thing you ever got out of it? Apart from a free bike?
Planet X, actually. I say I didn't really get much. I mean, I used to get
T-shirts? Stickers?
No, probably not a lot of free stuff, but it was more, I say Planet X gave me a couple of bikes at the end when I was doing some of the trials demos.
Yeah.
But it was more about getting council approvals and getting something done that was outside of the, like, downhill mountain biking looked after the downhill mountain bikers. BMX racing looked after BMX. But BMX dirt jumping and trials and that, there was no one really looking after those guys, I reckon. I really loved being involved with trials and elevating that, I think. That was and Marshy got me into trials.
Yeah.
That was good for me.
What do you reckon the guy at the peak of their sport back in their day was getting out of it? Wasn't getting a wage, was he?
It was just getting the bars and the enjoy. And look, there's probably a hope. You know, Marshy was fucking so talented. Jessica, there's a few guys that really stood out, and you go, fucking hell, you're so awesome. Like, if you could make a living off of this, fucking you deserve it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you see the young kids today, there's a few of them.
How good is it for them?
You know, Troy Brosnans and Connor Fear and...
Yeah. And other Aussies who are now stepping up.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, they were the young juniors.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at our age, there was senior guys interstate and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you really had to make your mark overseas.
Yeah.
You could get to an Australian championship and you could do that sort of stuff. But ultimately, you know, pit yourself against the rest of the world.
Yep.
When you're at that level.
Yeah, and I guess the thing for us, like, you know, we're all late 20s and, you know, you're looking around, I had a van, a chest of drawers and a couple of bikes. And you had to kind of bite the bullet and get a job and buy a house and set yourself up. So...
When did you buy yourself? When did you get into home ownership?
I think I was about 28 and I looked at myself and I was, you know, that's when we're doing all the free trips and, you know, life was looking pretty good. You're getting exposure on all the mountain bike magazines. So that meant it was really good for the bike companies because that was social media back then. And you pretty much worked your ass off, paid your own way, bought your own food, and you might have got free accommodation.
And $100 prize money if you can or something. I don't know.
Yeah, if that.
A couple of tyres.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you had to pay for your own tyres, mate. But no, about 28, I still looked at it and went, man, this isn't going to work out. Surely I need to do something about it. And that's when I worked for a drilling company and went away up the boonies, you know, doing my time to get a deposit together for a house.
And you bought a house?
Yeah, with Rowie. Yep. And I think that's about the time I found motorbikes, and you know, back then it was almost bigger, better, faster. You know, it's like the evolution. You came off BMX, road mountain bike, road moto, and then pretty much for the next 10 years, this road moto flat out for no reason bar enjoyment, because I worked. I didn't have to say anything to anyone. I went and did what I wanted to do.
Mistakes, fuck ups. Have you made any?
Heaps.
It's hard to, when you make so many, to put your finger on a couple, but put your finger, whether it's work, life, business, fucking relationship, bike, whatever.
Oh, look, I reckon one of the scariest ones was actually coming back from a mountain bike nationals and falling asleep at the wheel of the car with 4 mates in the car. That was super scary. That still haunts me to this day.
What was the circumstances led to that?
Funniest story ever, right? So I went to the nationals. I think someone got a good result, so we had a bit of a party that night. Might have been Buller at Hans Grimace's.
Yeah, that was fun up there.
Yeah. And then we proceeded to go visit some mates in Melbourne. And we rode around for the whole day. And, like back in those days, you just probably weren't aware of the things you are now. And we were going to stay an extra night in Melbourne. But I had a mate who had to be back in Adelaide for his dole appointment so he could get the dole and keep on surfing. So we stupidly drove through the night. And coming into Horsham, every single person in the car had fallen asleep, including me, the driver. And I woke up and the car was in midair. And, hit 2 trees and everyone survived. So it was pretty bloody lucky.
Could you still finish driving? Was it just panel damage or was it more than that?
Nah, the bonnet was all bent up, but we actually got that thing open, put another battery in it and drove it back to Adelaide.
All right. You sure you got another one? Mistakes, fuck ups. Oh, wow. Where did you go wrong?
Don't know.
A friend, you've said the wrong thing and regretted it, or made up for it afterwards. If do you lose your cool? Do you fucking blow up at people, and then maybe you're in a bad mood? Or
not really.
No?
Nah, not really. Nah.
You don't get too stressed by things.
Dumb shit pisses me off.
What's dumb shit? Give me an example of some dumb shit. Is that just driving in the car and someone's...
Nah, people on the roads don't bother me at all. It's just... I think in life, if you're in a work group, when people just don't step up and do their best, that's... that sucks. When you go to work, you wake up every day and you want to do your best and you got 2 Muppets around you that just want to do half their best.
That's frustrating.
That's frustrating.
That's not how you're raising your kids?
Nope.
Are you a tough dad or a gentle dad?
Straight down the line.
Give me an example.
Kid falls over, he's bawling his eyes out, and the first question is, did that hurt you or did it scare you? And generally the answer is, it scared me.
Good answer.
Yeah.
And what do you got? 2 boys?
2 boys, yep.
Do you want to tell us anything about how did you go from 0 kids to partner to kids?
Well, you know how you make children.
No, I know how you make children. But you can tell if feel free to explain.
That's all good,
There
mate.
might be someone listening that doesn't understand.
Look, kids weren't really on the radar for me and my partner. I've been with her for 17 years.
A bit more, Dino.
We were coming up 40 and we just thought, well, let's give it a go and see what happens. Next minute we're super blessed. We got Chase, so he's my eldest. And then 3 years later we gave him a mate, so that's like little Jet. So they're both good kids, pretty robust fellas. Yeah.
Good. Do they like bikes?
Yeah, both riding. Yep.
And motos and BMX and all the above? Or?
Yep, so BMXs, no front brakes, and both hand brakes, so they're going to learn the proper way. They both can ride a motorbike, Jet only just, but I'm never pushing them down my path. That's what they want to do.
All right, back to the inside line, back to the mountain bike club and some of the personalities. Maybe not in the racing so much, but
Okay, two personalities: Daryl Moore and Carol Moore, champions.
good.
Yeah, they looked out for me when I was a real young guy, and I really thank them for it. They were super cool people, great riders. And if you look at their trophy cabinets, there's a lot there.
Yeah, I've asked Dazzle to come and
Good.
sit across from me. I've already hit him up,
Yeah.
so hopefully we get him here. Okay, tell us. I'm going to press record on the other camera. Tell
Yeah.
us a couple of stories about Dazzle.
Yeah. Yeah, Daz was a good bloke. He was always super talented. He's always the older guy, smashing it all the time. Track cycles, mongoose, he was the guy to look up to in a way, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was for sure. Like, I mean, he had a trial set up in his backyard.
Yeah.
When we did the demos, it was his
Yep.
shit. Like, he was the older guy. I mean, I was old, but he was a bit more
Yeah.
older again. Like, just
Yeah.
older and wiser.
Yep.
And invested his time and passion into
Yeah.
helping all the people around him too.
Yep.
Marshy, a good mate of his,
Yep.
and for Marshy to have someone like Dazzles to practice and learn and refine his
Yeah.
stuff.
The Radnors,
Yes. The Radnor mix, Maxine, that cordial.
Maxine, Luke Radnor, track cycles, mongoose guy. He was the man to beat half the time, wasn't he?
I think I've just seen a flyer for the Inside Line mountain bike event, and they've got some old photos up there, and there's a picture of black and white thing of Radnor
Yeah.
up there as well.
Yeah. Who else was there? Homer, Mr. Assault magazine,
Tell us about him.
berm groomer, dirt merchant, legend.
Have to hit him up here as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us a story about Homer. And if he listens, he'll cringe. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, Homer going off his own back to make a magazine, which was probably costing him far more than what he's ever going to make.
Good to Hagen. My name's Glenn Holloway, and I condition the berms in this bountiful track.
And writing a story and making it like kind of cool. Like, was that semi-professional back then? But that was social media. Glenn taking photos, Glenn making his collage, someone else writing the story, and a few
Instagram of the day.
a few shops would advertise in it from memory.
It was just like 4 pages of black and white printed paper stapled in the corner, and
Yeah,
had some results, had some photos.
yeah. I mean, then personalities. I mean, big Toby Cox.
Toby, shout out Toby,
Yep, good guy.
bloody good guy.
Yeah,
Rasta Cup.
yeah. Man, you have to like rattle the old memory, but yeah, the list goes on, doesn't it? Paddo, Mr. Innovation. He was the guy making travel plates for giant bikes to give you more travel. CTR.
Yeah, Gary's there. The first downhill in Adelaide, Gary and Holmes. I knew nothing. Afterwards, I knew who they were.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes.
I think they were there at the very, very beginning. Dave Mott.
I mean, Dave Roundabell. Haven't seen that guy in years.
yeah.
Yeah, he was always there.
Another track cycles guy.
Yeah. Puz. There's so many, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yep.
And good people to hang out with. It was always
Yep. Kalish.
good fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved on. Gawler dual slalom. I've posted a video of that, and people liked seeing that old stuff. Dual slalom. You remember much of those days?
That was rowdy, wasn't it? That was some good racing. Killer atmosphere.
Describe what those hot dusty days were like out at fucking Gawler.
How good was it? Well, you had the Club Safari tent going, the all-day rave. God knows what was going on in there.
Well, we probably got some idea.
Yeah.
You ready for a beer yet?
Yeah, sure. Trav on the mic, he was always like, a bit of a... legend on the day, always on the mic, making it all happen. He was always, a big part of Inside Line, wasn't he?
He really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us. Okay. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
Travis Smith, now Travis Rich.
Yeah.
JT Cycles.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty good.
What was your involvement and relationship with Big Trav?
They used to just give me shit, and I gave it back to him, I think.
But that was the early Inside Line days.
Yeah.
When he would rock up on the Sunday with Luther selling his ribs, and had a little tent,
Yep.
and probably towing people up the hill and trailers and hanging onto window frames of cars.
Yeah.
What was Hilltop Transport like in the early days of downhilling?
Any way you could get up, wasn't it? Stacks on in a van, bikes, cardboard, no trailers.
Scratching your bike.
Scratching your
stabbing the
bike.
bikes.
Yeah. Then you got a trailer and rip your cranks apart. Pretty cool.
And so what do you look forward to? What do you look forward to now? Like it's 2024. What's on the horizon? Like, what are you looking forward to doing?
Looking forward to doing some more riding, I think.
Mountain biking or
Both. Mountain biking and moto for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Kids are that, just past that, young, nurturing age. And yeah, I would guess I sort of took a big step back and put them first. And, it's time to sort of, keep the smile on the face.
That's not that hard, is it? Or is it?
Going for a ride makes it easier, doesn't it?
Night riding.
Yeah, night riding's awesome.
How does explain riding at night?
No one's coming the other way, are they?
You'll see them.
Yeah, you'll see them.
We have a few good night rides.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I think it's just hanging out with the boys, really, isn't it? Yeah, everyone works pretty hard these days. We're all pushing 50, but you're still out doing it. Even if it's like 7 degrees and drizzling, you're still out there doing what you should be doing. It's good.
Is that consistent or it comes and goes?
I think it comes and goes, doesn't it?
We've all got different.
Yeah.
We've all got lives to live and
Yeah.
kids and families and wives and all the rest of it.
Yep. Thoroughly enjoyable, though. Yep.
Yeah. Tuesday night rides, it's like a Saturday night for us oldies.
It is good, yeah. But, where we ride as well, I mean, you're in the foothills of Adelaide. You're looking at a spectacular cityscape. Riding in the hills, you got freeway below you for up, it's just so good.
Where's a couple of your favourite trails? Like you go riding, like on your mountain bike. Where's a couple of laps, local loops that you like riding? Local trails.
Yeah. That's knocking
That's
in.
that flappy thing there.
Yeah. Local trails. I mean, there's nothing really everything's just a trail in Adelaide. There's no double blacks or anything like that, is there?
Have you experienced overseas international events and riding? Have you ridden elsewhere?
Oh, years ago I went to Whistler, did a summer over there. That was cool.
What was that like? Who were you there with?
I was over there with Dave West, James French, myself, Kalish, the Wild Man, and that was awesome. We smashed so many runs. It was awesome.
What kind of year? Like how long ago was that?
I reckon it's 2004.
And how long were you gone for? And
I think I was there for just on a month. I should have stayed for longer, but that was the time schedule.
a month, that's a good time. No kids, no anything else. Just go ride and hang out and have fun.
Yeah, it's good. Good.
You still see those boys
Yeah.
much today, or
Yeah, I bump into Wildy pretty often. See him down the shop, obviously. Haven't seen Frenchie for ages. Westy's always drifting around. Yeah. Kalish.
where do you shop? Where do you get your bike stuff from?
Where do I go? Bit of B, bit of Mitcham Cycles.
Who are the guys there that you?
Nathan Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trigger.
When did you meet those boys?
Well, Nathan Morris used to work at Allgate Bike Shop selling Giant, and I worked at Blackwood Bike Shop selling Giant, so I think we're almost sort of rivals, which is cool.
Competitors.
And Trigger actually was a customer and a little kid.
And now what is he?
He's Mr. Bicycle Express, isn't he? Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Who are some of the shops around town back then? There was only a few, well, there was a few and they had a change. Like,
Yeah.
let's say, early 2000s. What was the bike? I mean, bike shop everywhere now. 99 Bikes. There's so many different brands. What was the retail side of bikes like back then, to your memory?
Well, you had your big, like, JTs, didn't you? Standish was always around. Advanti Plus, wasn't it? They were sort of like the Nari Jenkins and a heap of those guys on the Advantis.
Few little shops, north and south.
Yeah, a few little shops, wasn't there?
But generally, those few brands had 3 or 4 shops.
That's right. Yeah, your little shops like Allgate Cycles, Cycle Rider,
Megabike.
Megabike. Yeah, they were quite a
Blackwood used to have 2, 3 bike
2
shops up the
shops,
hill,
yeah.
and now,
no shops.
and it's the go-to
I know.
place for young kids in Adelaide,
Yeah.
and there's no bike shop at there.
I think it's
I
the-
mean, Nathan's at the bottom of the hill. But
Yeah, I think it's the
it's
rent.
a bit of a
isn't
way
it?
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a good idea for someone, I reckon. Go and get a shop back there. What about, talking about Blackwood and Belair, train runs. Catching the train right on the bottom of the hill, catching the train going back up, bombing down hills. What train runs at Belair?
Yeah. I did them for a little bit back in the day, but it's way more manly riding back up, isn't it? It is.
On an e-bike.
Fuck
You wouldn't
your
call it
e-bike.
manly. I know, you wouldn't call it manly. I just call it smart and efficient.
Yeah.
Okay, so rumour has it you're getting an e-bike soon, or is that just bullshit?
That's just bullshit.
Yeah, figured it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do ride with e-bikers though.
Yep.
How does that go?
You just get the job done, don't you?
You don't complain.
Nah.
No.
Nah. I don't get invited to the exclusive rides, though, do I?
Well, you're not fast enough.
No, I don't have an e-bike.
You're not fast enough, that's all. Yeah, tell us about, a fun event, like Black Flies parties. That was part of the mountain. In our day, we were lucky to have, Black Flies was rowdy,
Yeah,
but it created some excitement.
it did.
Who bought that stuff?
Oh, Deanzo, hey? Yeah.
Yep.
He had a lot to do with the Port Zero Gravity as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he was doing the freestyle motocross stuff.
Yeah. And that's where we did tow-ins.
Tow-ins.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was good, wasn't it?
It was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I think Rowie sketched up a bit of a ramp, thought he was a bit of a mathematician, didn't he?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was that clever.
Yeah, me either.
But he fucking did it.
And then I think we just got towed in behind my old full drive at 35 and just worked out the
practice, yeah.
calculation by about 5Ks to get that distance, and then
The car wasn't appropriate.
the car wasn't appropriate, so we got slung in off the back of a 2-stroke Banshee, didn't we? Getting peppered.
And I don't think anyone done anything like that at that stage. There was one of the New World disorders when someone had the kicker ramp up
Yeah.
to the second story of a flat or something.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time we'd seen a mountain bike get towed to a ramp,
Yeah.
and then we built that thing,
I know.
which was completely different. It was nothing like what was on the video. I don't think we'd seen anything like that before.
No.
I don't think so. And how far are we jumping then? Explain the environment. Explain the scene of tow-in ramp jumping.
Towing ramp jumping at Port Gawler in a short was heaps of rednecks. Pretty good, like, so I started again. It was a good tow in, a pretty good lip, a reasonable landing, and a couple of token cars at the end. So if you binned it, you're going to bin properly, wasn't it?
And how did the day go? Like, how did explain? I mean,
Yeah.
I know, but explain it to someone else.
So I think we all started.
And who was the we?
Well, there was myself, Rowan, Grant, yourself, and always people forget there was Tuma and Lee.
Yep.
Yep. And they both did what we did. Hats off to them.
Bloody oath.
Yeah, there's a couple of old school inside
Yeah.
line legends.
Yeah.
Hiding the woodwork these days.
I bumped into Tuma at Cheap as Chips one day.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was really on the internet stuff.
Nah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, he had good skills, though. They had
Yeah.
good skills and
They're
big
great,
balls.
Great guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we still did a few runs during the day, didn't we? Slowly getting the gap back.
So explain. So explain if people can't see what. I mean, I'll hopefully get some video footage to put up.
Yeah.
But
I think we just dragged back the lip, didn't we?
we had this metal ramp. It was
Yep.
like 4 meters long with a, like you
Yeah.
say.
It was just the perfect sender, really, wasn't it? No kick, just a wedge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just a
no
wedge.
radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're getting sprayed behind quad bikes.
Bikes. Yeah.
Spraying rocks in your face, holding with one
Yeah.
hand onto a rope.
I know. Yeah, the thing is, well, when it got night time, everyone got rowdy because everyone was on the rum cans, weren't they? And I remember getting towed in. You got like empty beer cans getting ditched at you. You're about to hit 75 foot. You're hanging on by one hand. You're getting roosted and beer cans chucked at your head. What a night, hey? That was pretty cool.
It was fucking awesome. It
Yeah.
really was. Yeah, big shout out to Daisy
And
there.
you just like the rush, like jumping 75 foot on a bike, which would sit in a 6x4 trailer. Like my enduro bike is longer than it by lengths.
Yeah, 26-inch wheels.
26-inch wheels.
Yeah.
Your knees hit the handlebars and you're right, and I'm not tall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's good distance for the day. Then
Yeah.
Nathan Rennie, he went on and the Red Bull,
Yeah, the one we're not allowed to talk about.
the ramp, the jump that he did. You can talk about that.
Can we?
Well, we can talk about anything.
We can.
We can fucking
Yeah.
talk about anything.
I never
now.
signed anything.
No. What can't you talk about?
The day some of the coolest shit went down in mountain biking, and we're not allowed to talk about it. Well, I can.
And who are some of the names in that thing that we can't talk
Some
about?
of the big names. Canadians.
You can't say their names.
I can save Dave Watson, can't I? Who else was there?
Aaron Chase.
Aaron Chase. Nathan Rennie.
Because what was Red Bull did a tour. They had riders
the,
doing stuff. They had a big bus.
Yeah, the Red Bull freight train.
Tell us more.
I think they pretty much they had a big bus, loaded up some of the guns on it, and drove from Perth to Adelaide, getting some footage. Grant Allen was on the bus. We got a little token invite at the end, which was pretty cool.
Grant Allen. Tell me a story about him.
Who's Grant Allen?
Yeah, he's a fucking legend.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a Grant Allen story. Tell us a Grant Allen story.
Where do you start with Grant Allen, hey? I think some of the jumps we had going up at his folks' place and the foam pit early days. And that's where we kind of, I think, did learn to do some big things, like big 3-0s into...
That's when he had his 21st.
Yeah.
That was kind of that time, which
Yeah.
fucking count the years.
Yeah,
A while
I think,
ago.
I think he came sail, and I think we're only just learning to build lips back then too. Remember, like I think Grant built this thing, and for his 21st, he built this lip which had way too much, like it was too tight in the radius.
Yeah, kick. And he just pedalled into that.
He just pedalled into
From
it
fucking
with
miles
a
away.
cape on, remember? And we're all sitting there, and he just hit this lip and went straight up, and just literally came straight back down top of the landing and just chinned
Chin slap.
Chin slapped the headstand, busted his chin open, and I think we had a birthday cake with his mum and his dad. That was cool.
I got footage of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get to drag
Just
some of it out.
chatted himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, had some cool shit out there.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first foam pit, which was kind of hay and straw and foam and mould and snakes.
And
Yeah. And that was, I think that was the safest place, the softest landing.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't not like a resi mat and a airbag.
I know.
Stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we had some good times up there. Probably travelling as well with him. Early days when we were both racing downhill. Canberra.
Tell us about Canberra.
Man, do you remember Canberra?
I forget a lot of it, but that's why I'm asking you guys.
Oh, I think everyone made their first stop in Fish Week and we bought crackers, didn't we?
Dazzle loved this crate. Like we've talked about Dazzle, we talk about firecrackers.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being at a KFC restaurant with my brother and Grant and I think Westy boys. Matt West, Dave West, and someone threw a firecracker towards the counter and KFC. we just left. Put it that way. We just left. And I think there's another one where Matt West hurt his back in Canberra. Remember he ended up in hospital?
Yeah, one of the events over there.
Yeah, so it was fireworks at the hospital.
I don't know. I think you can't buy fireworks there anymore. I think that was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
That was the only place in Australia. I mean, you can get them in Alice at
middle of the year or something.
I think,
Territory Day.
You can do it.
Yep.
Yeah, fireworks are good fun.
Yep.
I thought of something and then I've forgotten it. Your brother.
Yeah.
Tell us about your brother.
He's that guy, isn't he?
He's different guy to different people.
Oh, Mr. Splat, wasn't he?
He'd give things a go, wouldn't he?
He'd give things a go. Yep.
How do you perceive his approach to a drop at the moon versus your approach?
I'll probably sort of analyse things a lot more. Whereas Rowie was always, I've done it once, I can do it again. Even if I just go splat.
Even if he hasn't done it once.
I don't know. Yeah, there's so many times just dragging him back to the car, wasn't there? Putting him in the car and like the rule.
He's paying for it now.
He's paying for it now. And the rule was what was the rule? About 2 minutes to get up and get in the car.
Oh, we're leaving you.
We're leaving you. Yeah. It's like that time out Fitch's Forest, hey?
Oh, that sent a few people.
Yeah. I think you were pissing blood.
I think everyone hurt. Everyone crashed.
Yeah.
That jump.
I broke a toe and rolled an ankle, so I hobbled out of there.
Yeah.
I got home and Rowie just got the cushions off the couch and goes, "There's your bed, mate." And I think I laid there for about 3 days.
We didn't really know how to make if it was a jump. Well, you figure you just jump it. Whether the angles and the lips were right.
Yeah,
it
was BMX.
You figured it out
jumps,
later.
Yeah,
heaps of speed with a kicky lip was not the right, and no landing.
I know, and like the rule of thumb is like at least a bike and a half length on the takeoff.
Which you know that now.
Yeah. Instead of just trying to suck up a moon booter.
Did you do much trail building in the early days? Were you digging jumps yourself? Did you throw a shovel around?
BMX days, rhythm sections. Do you remember the old rhythms down at
Following the creek at Apex?
Apex, that was killer.
They're only little. They're only like knee high.
Yeah.
This snaky little section.
Yeah.
But the council knocked that, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Unfortunately.
Even though it was in the facility they'd given you for jumps.
That was early day councils, wasn't it?
What was your involvement with councils? Did you have much?
A little bit with the building of the track.
You had to have some meetings or something?
I think we put it through. There was jumps there, and I think it was through a youth centre initiative or something. We kind of we got the track built, which is kind of cool.
And you had your names on the sign and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's some submissions going in at the moment, what people want for the facility.
To change it.
I think it'll make it more user-friendly.
City skate park. Did you used to hang out there much? The concrete park in the city?
Little bit. Early days BMX when it was over by the train station. Yeah. Not a whole heap.
Skate parks in general, dirt jumps, trails in general, back in the late 90s, how many were around?
None.
Literally.
Literally. Early days skating, you skated Sturt Drain. I think there was a place out at Holden Hill. Or just street skated, didn't you?
Skating wasn't my thing. I couldn't.
No.
I thought, oh, yeah, I'll do that, and I'd try it. It's like, no fucking way.
No way. Yeah, I sort of got sick of the slams, to be honest. That's when I grabbed a BMX. Yeah.
All right, a bit more BMX. Like, what were you trying to push yourself to do on a BMX? Like, where did your head go to do something to progress?
I think it was just an outlet. That's what you did before you had cars, and that was your hot rod, really, wasn't it? Early days, we used to bomb runs of Lofty on BMX bikes, like 20 of us.
Winter track,
flat
On
out on a
BMX.
20-inch.
Oh, yeah.
That's living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, that's living. Yeah. Single, side pull brake, foot out. Early days, that was cool.
Gump House.
Yeah, that was cool. Big berm.
Tell us a Gump House story. What is Gump House?
Gump House who was living there? Paddo, Marshy, Homer. And they just cut this 4-turn track on the side of the hill.
Up at Belair there.
Belair
next to
invited
Joffs.
Joffs invited everyone in Adelaide up, and people would rail till the sun went down, didn't they?
Homer, chief child groomer.
Berm master.
He loved it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be good to get him here and tell us a couple of stories.
Oh, he would love it. Yeah. Yeah. He did a lot, didn't he?
Sure did. All right, so some of the other names, faces, events, like an interstate travel, for the Red Bull event. I didn't go to it.
Yeah.
You guys went across. Who went across? Tell us a bit about the fires in Canberra and the time you were over there.
Well, probably the standout ones before it was a Red Bull event was the all-terrain mountain bike challenge. That was the first one ever, really, wasn't it?
Explain what event was, and roughly what year. I don't remember the year. But
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early, yep. Somewhere
That
around
was the same year the Perisher X Games.
there. Okay. Yep.
I reckon around there.
And what was that event?
Was it Nolan had the idea based off of free skiing events which he'd seen. So it was essentially have a course and score guys.
Where was it?
It was actually in Jindabyne, up against the damn wall. And it had all sorts on it. It had seesaws.
What do you mean?
Well, like,
You're on a bike.
You're on a bike and
on a seesaw.
On a seesaw. So it was a bit taking off probably a little bit of the stuff from the free ride scene in Canada. A couple of things where you jumped on and you'd slide along this module and then drop off at the end. Heaps of steep chutes.
You don't see much of. You're talking about that's North Shore.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't know. You don't see that stuff anymore, do you? I don't know. It seems to be jumps all the time now, but there was a big period where that was a huge influence.
Yeah, all the
North Shore
stuff. Yeah,
because they had to get off the ground because it was so muddy and wet all year round.
Yep,
they had to build off the ground.
Yeah, yeah, and that was a cool event because for the scope of crew that were there, no one really had any idea how to ride this course, and we all just sort of picked it off, and you know.
So you'd start at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Give us a little rundown of the track, like with your memory. Like, give us a little rundown of how it kind of went.
I think it was like you came down and there was like a little kind of, you had to jump up onto a North Shore thing, which then when you got to the end, it turned into like a teeter-totter and dropped you down. It's wound down a bit of techie stuff we had to traverse across, but then it had like, for early days, like this little rock slab, which if you looked at it now, you'd just hose it sort of thing. But it was daunting to everyone back then, you know? And it was just, how do you get down this course?
It wasn't high speed.
It wasn't really high speed, no. Not like a modern Red Bull kind of event. So it kind of showed up people's skill set, I reckon.
Who stood out?
I'm just trying to think who was there. I mean, there was names like, was it Ben Corey?
Yeah, I reckon he was probably up there in that time.
Jared Rando. So some pretty big names in the sport. Wode was there, I think, from memory. It's 20 years ago.
Yeah,
you have to.
And that was the first one, and then they did another one.
I think that's when it turned into the Red Bull Ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is before there was no hardline. There was no Red Bull events as such.
No.
Do you think?
Well, I think Red Bull was pretty new to the country, wasn't it?
And so, you know, they had the all-terrain challenge.
Yep.
And then what? The next year, they did a bigger and better version.
They did.
And what was that like? You went to that one? Did
yeah,
you go to that one?
Yeah, I think it was on the same. Was it the same course? I can't remember. But that's when they put in the big scaff drop, and then Grant did it. Which I was just like, no, I'm not doing that.
Did anyone else do it?
I don't think so. It was hectic.
And so explain, you know, if you've driven up the car park and you look up the hill and there's something in front of you, what are you looking at?
These days you can't even tell it was there. Yeah. And then the other course was on the other side of the road, up above the dam. So, I mean, you wouldn't know it for these days, but in terms of what people ride today, it would have been a Black Diamond run for sure.
And so at the bottom they had the big scaffold, like a 2-3 levels of. You can do a 3 meter drop. You can do a.
Yeah, they did.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, not many people were hitting them.
Even the little one.
Not really, no, because I don't think people knew you could do that.
And how big was the little one?
I can't remember.
Well, 3-4 meters.
Yeah, maybe.
Drop out.
I'm not sure
meters,
what Grant
like
dropped, but
the size of it was pretty substantial.
Yeah,
2-3 story building.
Might have been
something
6
like that.
meters or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit, don't quote me on it. Yeah,
But it's not something that the bikes weren't. There's still a 26-inch wheel bike with limited travel,
Yep.
some triple clamps on the front,
yeah.
and how far does the suspension soak up the impact?
The biggest thing was snapping a bottom bracket when you landed. Like, I actually used to go out with 2 or 3 in my bag, and all the tools would change over a bottom bracket mid-ride.
Well, the early days was still a square spline,
Spindle,
and
yeah.
then they got the corrugated spline.
So then we put profiles on the bike. Yeah.
All right, well, I need to do a wee, so I think we go for a little bit more.
Yep.
But still going. How's your beer going?
Yeah, good. Hello.
All right, where are we going to go now? Do you know?
Not sure, mate. This gyrating camera thing's a bit weird, isn't it?
It looks pretty cool.
Does it?
The footy, yeah. Just the, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's high quality.
Yeah, I bet.
It's filling up all the space on my computer though. So
Is it?
yeah, everything's over capacity.
Overcapacitated?
Over capacity.
Flux capacitated?
Okay, we're back again.
Righto.
That was a good wee.
Yeah.
Adversity, challenges. Is there a time in your life when shit hit the fan that you would be happy to share with us, and how you dealt with that? Your brother had an incident.
What was his?
Well, when his heart kind of stopped beating.
Yeah, that was no good.
Tell us your perspective of what happened.
Well, that was pretty weird because I was working in Darwin at the time. I was up there working on a gas plant, and got a phone call saying something happened to Rowie, and he was in Perth at the time. Other ends of Australia, so it wasn't looking good. I was pretty much told to fly down and say goodbye.
How does that mess with your head of a brother?
Oh, fuck, when you... The flight from Darwin to Perth, which the boys organised for me, was just the weirdest experience in my life.
And how did you receive the news, and what news did you receive?
I can't even remember who rang me. I just said that he was in Perth with a good mate, Kent, and something happened to him. He just went blank. Thank Kent, many thanks that Kent jumped on him and revived him. And they're in a restaurant, and just by chance, there was someone there who had a medical background, and I think they worked on him for 20 minutes and kept him.
How long ago was that?
Must have been 2014, I reckon. Yeah. Yeah, that was really weird. So,
What
Roy
did you do? You heard the news, and what
heard
did you
the
do?
news, grabbed the flight from Darwin to Perth. By then, I think my mum was in the hospital. It was all going on, and
She'd travelled from Adelaide.
Adelaide, yeah, and it wasn't looking good.
How long did it take you to get there?
I was there the next day.
But that's like 24 hours when they've said...
Yeah, it must have been something like that. And from what I could gather, Rowie was no good in the corner of the room. There wasn't much attention on him. And I walked up to him and said, "Rowie, it's Dean." And he literally just fucking sit up upright, opened his eyes and started making contact with people, and then trying to rip all the tubes out of him. About 20 seconds later, the staff realised he was still all good.
Yeah.
And went from there.
So you walked into a room seeing a lifeless, essentially, brother with life support systems on him,
Yep.
and then that.
Said goodbye, and he sat up and said hello. Yeah.
That's a good ending. to
Pretty,
that kind of
pretty hectic, yeah.
And how does that make you feel? How to have that experience in your life? Are you grateful? Are you?
Yeah, it's, of course you're grateful. Yeah. Yeah.
Does it change your perspective on life, death?
It definitely sort of made you feel a little bit fragile. Knowing that anything could happen, you know what I mean? And, you know, I think life is precious, isn't it?
When you're staring that in the face, when it's right there in front of you,
Yeah.
it
But
counts.
the funny thing is, like, Rowan being Rowan, you're not surprised. Oh, yeah.
Nah, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not, you're just, like, you know, I've known him obviously my whole life, and it's just, he just gets scraped up, put back together, and back to it. Like, it kind of almost, might sound really weird, wasn't that out of the norm,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have always got along? I mean, I've got
Yeah.
I've got an older brother.
Yeah, 2 years apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could call them mixed splat, really, couldn't you? Like,
And you've always done stuff together. Do you shit each other off? Like, do you fight and argue?
Our old brothers shit each other off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Even to this day?
No, life's pretty separate, you know what I mean?
You've grown up and you go,
Grown
don't
up,
hold on to
yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
What about, like you said before, someone pisses you off doing something? Like, you're suggesting that people don't really piss you off. You don't let it get to you. Has someone, like, you don't have to name it, but an experience happened and fucking hell, that really fucked me over. You're not bitter about that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yep. I think you've got to give people a second chance. No one's perfect.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Might be a fault of mine not to hold grudges, but what's the point?
No, I think it's a pretty fucking admirable attitude to have, you know.
Yeah.
I get pissed off with people all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better at
Yeah.
not being pissed off with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, someone accidentally cuts you off in a car driving. I mean, that's not something worth getting upset about. I think it just makes people better drivers, doesn't it?
When I've been in a rush, you're in a car, you're running late for something, people piss you off.
Yeah.
But if you're not running late for anything, it's just fucking life.
Whatever.
You go to Bali, you travel, everyone's honking their horn, then no one's angry. Everyone just flows and goes. There's no malice or anger in it. Here in Adelaide, there's fucking road rage and malice and anger in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not happy with their jobs or something.
Yeah, like you see on the news of road rage attack. Like, what the? Come on.
And you stop and film it instead of helping it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the guy get beaten up instead of stepping in.
Yep.
Riff-raff, altercations.
Yeah.
In the mountain bike BMX environment. There's been a few occasions when shit happens. Can you cast your mind to any times when you stand up for each other, you stand up for yourselves?
I reckon more your riff-raff and your interactions are with the general public, aren't they? If you're riding somewhere you're not meant to be, or you're riding a trail and someone's bushwalking and it's conflicting interests. I could name one situation.
Go on.
Well, years ago, I'm talking 90s. We were coming down Lofty, a whole bunch of us, and I think we were on like BMXs, and there was a couple with their kids walking up towards us, and we're always courteous, and that's the way you keep your sport good. Like, if you see horse riders, you stop, you give them the right of way. You see walkers, the same thing. And anyway, we all came skidding down, and we scared old love, and the kids kind of got a little bit tizzled, and I think she was having words to us, and I think Rowie said something, so she slapped him. So Rowie proceeded to drop his bike and went over and slapped her husband. The guy's jaw dropped, and everyone just carried on. So
this is Thai kickboxer Rowan.
He's a little kid, man.
Yeah. Okay, this is way before.
Way
that.
before.
Yeah, okay.
He would have been 16, 17.
Yeah,
He's just gone over and slapped this bloke. Yeah, old Karen didn't like it, did she?
Yeah, cool. What about, here's a memory for you. Night riding around the Blackwood High School just playing chasey on fucking bikes, being kids.
Yeah.
Do you remember those sessions?
That's how you learnt to ride, wasn't it?
That was, that was
96.
before trial. I don't know, it was early. What? Okay, you'd get a group of boats together, and what would you do, and where would we go, and what would you do?
Yeah, we just go to Blackwood High, didn't we? And actually play chasey like kids.
Chasey, yeah.
But
fucking 20 years old.
20 years old, but it meant you were like hopping up ledges and doing wall rides.
Trying to get away from the guy.
Yeah, that was good times, wasn't it?
That was really good fun. And
we used to go hit the jump down the back of Blackwood High and play out. So it'd be like, 360, knack, 1 foot, one hand,
you couldn't
cross
land
up.
it.
Yeah.
And the tricks and progression. What was a good trick back in the day when you were learning big, when you were riding
360.
with your peers,
Yeah.
what was the best trick that you could see
360
in
wasn't
real
it?
life?
Oh, like a can or a knack, which was like replicating probably early day motocross stuff, wasn't it?
So no backflips
They came in
at the start.
No.
There was no one could do a backflip in Adelaide. When you started riding BMX, there was no one in Adelaide doing a backflip, yeah?
I think I'd seen a backflip on a movie called Rad. Is that correct?
That was probably the first place most of us saw
I
it.
saw it, yeah. Yep.
But not in real life, not in the
Not in
flesh.
real life,
No,
no.
human that you knew was willing to try that trick.
Yeah. I don't think so. Do you remember Matt Townsend landing probably the first 360 in Australia over Dingley Dell?
I reckon he did it at the city park before then, yeah?
He did, didn't he?
Under that big
Yeah, I
pine
remember.
tree.
Yeah,
The track used to be a berm and a tabletop.
yeah, I remember that.
And we did have an
Yeah.
event there.
He landed it there, didn't
It
he?
was. It was a berm and a tabletop that might have been waist height.
Yep.
360, maybe a 360 can. Might have just been probably a 360.
360, yeah.
I think guys were trying backflips then.
Yeah.
Steve and Ross Richter.
I
and
think they're a
maybe.
few years later.
Yeah.
I think Jesse was the
Even a
first.
bit, well, I think Matt Townsend was the first guy I saw land 360s
Yep.
on a proper jump,
Yep.
which a proper jump in that day was a fucking tabletop.
Yep. About as big as this table here, wasn't it?
One jump in Adelaide.
Yep. Pretty
Yeah.
good. Pretty good.
Matt Townsend will have to fucking hit him up. I was speaking with Dwayne, was saying who did the first backflip in Adelaide. Like, I think it was Ross.
I think it
And
was.
we weren't sure if it was Ross or Pelican, maybe,
Yeah.
and we'll settle that. But that was down at Victor Harbour. Did you ever go down there to?
Yeah.
You'd travel. There was no facility in Adelaide, so you'd literally drive to Victor because they had a BMX track that kind of had a lip on it. That
Yeah, I
wasn't
think so.
wasn't a racing track.
Yeah.
They actually shaped it a little bit more conveniently.
Yep.
Jesse Carlson,
Haven't seen him in years.
what did you think of him when he was
He
back
was-
in the day?
He was out of control, wasn't he? Yeah, he was executing stuff people weren't even dreaming of back then, wasn't he? Pretty special guy.
Bloody oath.
Yeah.
Inspirational people, like who, when you grew up, did you have a role model or a hero did you have anything like that? Was there
Nah, not really.
No?
Nah. Nah, how about yourself?
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I'm not sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, didn't really pursue to be anything we weren't being already, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about now as an adult? Like, do you is it in business or as a good parent or a good family or a good husband? Like, do you see other people now around you go, fucking, he seems to fucking be doing all right at his thing?
I think you're probably these days, you're educated on the way you look at people, and you can see why old mate's like this or she's like that, and why? Because I think anything in life takes effort, doesn't it? And discipline and sacrifices.
What sacrifices have you made recently?
I think the only one I've just been is putting my kids first, you know what I mean? Keeping you could be away riding like you used to every weekend, but it doesn't help raise good people if dad's always away riding his bike, does it?
Selfless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that hard or it's not that hard?
No, it's not that hard because it all comes back around in time, don't you? I mean, look at you. You've got, how old are your kids? 19?
21. 20, oldest is nearly 22 now.
22. So, yeah, it all comes back around, doesn't it?
Yeah, you hope you does if you do the right thing, and you hope it comes around. But
Yep.
fucking life's a whole mix of scrambled fucking
Yeah.
emotions and
It
expectations.
certainly is, isn't it? Yeah.
So, any inspirational words? Like, there's down in your dumps. Have you been down in the dumps over something that you can, even in the last few, whether it was an injury back in the day or maybe something more recent that, you know, you felt like, you know, the walls were caving in a little bit?
I think everyone's been through that situation. It's called life, isn't it?
And how do you pick your socks up? Have you got a specific? Could you tell us I think, well, fucking hell, life's really just got on top of me right now.
I think it can happen to anyone if you let it get to you, if you get what I mean. I think something in life has got to suck some eggs sometime.
All the time.
Well, you don't have to all the time.
A lot of the time, like, shit comes your way.
Yeah.
Shit is in your future.
Yeah.
It's not like everything's going to be rosy.
We got
It's not a Cinderella story.
No, we got it pretty good here in Australia, I reckon, mate. You know, so we're bloody lucky.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your next adventure? You got something up your sleeve? Something to keep your smile on your dial?
Yeah. Tuesday, 2 days time, 4 days riding in the Flinders.
What's that?
What
are you riding?
Moto. Yep.
Doing what?
Event called the Flinders Classic. I think it's been running, one of those ones that's been running for almost 20 years. Pretty good. Heading up out the back of Parachulna, Blimban on 5 big stations, some real gnarly country, some good crew. So,
have you done it before?
I did it last year. Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not so good.
Why?
I ended up with an ear infection, ended up in Hawker Hospital and only rode 1 day, so that was a bit of a bummer. Yeah.
How far is Hawker from here? What? Tell us a little bit, go into a little bit more detail.
Oh, it's some of the most spectacular country you ever see, so proper Flinders. I think the lake out to the left, you don't quote me, I think from memories like Lake Torrens. So you get up like in the hills above that and you're overlooking a big lake. Some of the ridings off the track, like just pick your own adventure down through gorges.
How many people are doing this? What's the
I think it's
group
probably
of people?
100, 120. Yeah.
So 120 guys drive 6 hours to a spot and then they ride their motorbikes for the next 4 days.
Yep.
Doing...
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. Like, you're talking about inspirational people. Like, last year I had dinner and sat down next to a guy, I think he was in his 70s and still riding dirt bikes. Pretty cool. And he's with his mates he's been riding with for 30 years, and it's so cool. You'll speak to old mate who's been doing it for 2 years. You'll speak to... It's just such a good thing.
And you did it last year, do that with your mates, or?
I went up there by myself and made friends along the way, which is always cool. Yeah.
And then you got an ear infection 1 day in and you had to deal with it all by yourself.
Yeah, that was no good. That was a disappointing moment in life.
But you're going again in a couple of days, and
yeah,
how's your ears?
Hopefully all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, pretty good country. I mean, these stations, I don't know what they are in hectares or acres. They're as far as the sight can see. So you're pretty privileged getting onto these, having a look around and experiencing the Flinders. Yeah.
I reckon we're getting pretty close to the end here.
Yeah.
This has been fucking awesome, and we'll keep getting better, and I'd love to have you back and do more. But a lesson in life, have you got? Is there something that you've learned that you go, fucking hell? I mean, you've said about a few things here. But
Yeah.
You got a lesson?
Yeah.
In life that you'd share with people?
Yeah.
What?
Bikes generally have 2 brakes. Use them.
Good.
Yep.
Finish on that.
Yeah, don't fuck the job.
Fucking great.
Excellent.
Great having you here, Dago.
Yeah, man, you too.
Thanks, mate.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cool.
We're good.
We're done.
That's a wrap.
You like that one?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Cool.
Cool. How'd it go?
I
I
think
was pretty nervous about that. I don't know what to talk about, mate. If you can't,
neither do I.
you better rather than round this go nut pass.